Why do you think you haven't had an invitation to the wedding?
Well, you know, I thought about that. I wondered about that. And I have to say, I'm not taking it personally. It's not just me. None of the family have received invites, nor have Doria's family. So although we don't understand, we can only wish them well, but I'm not taking it personally, nor am I holding that against her.
I think a lot of people would take that very personally. You're a member of the family. How hurt have you and the other members of the family been by not having an invitation?
On and off, I would be lying to say that we weren't. But, you know, for some of us, the travel is not very easy. I am in a wheelchair, so, you know, I had to evaluate, even had I been invited, it would have been a bit difficult. But for everyone else in the family, I can only think that, you know, schedules might have been in the way. Nonetheless, we wish her well, and it is what it is.
Samantha, were you invited to Meghan's previous wedding?
No, it was an unspoken thing. I think the similar situation applied, that, you know, for a beach wedding in Jamaica, the wheelchair perhaps would have been somewhat in the way, and I really didn't want to bog the fun down, so to speak. So I refrained from making it a big deal.
When was the last time you spoke to Meghan? How would you describe your relationship as her half-sister? And when was the last time you had any contact with her?
We last spoke in 2015, and I was concerned about my father, so I called her in Canada. And it was really a nice conversation. It was just a matter of catching up, and her last words were, my nickname is Babe, so she said, "I love you, Babe. It was great catching up. Let's keep in touch." And we left it at that.
Samantha, you mentioned your father there, yours and Meghan's father, in fact, Thomas. Now, you will know that yesterday it broke in this country that the paparazzi pictures that we've been seeing of him of late, he is allegedly colluded with the agency. We've seen CCTV footage of him arriving at the internet cafe, for example, with the photographer. Have you spoken to your father about this?
I have, and I have to say I am entirely the culprit. As we know, the media can take very unflattering photographs of people, you know, on their casual days and blow it way out of proportion. And I said, you know, the world has no idea that you're getting in shape, you're doing healthy things. They don't photograph you buying vegetables and pH water. They photograph you in as unflattering ways as they can. So I said, really, you know, you need to show the world that you're getting in shape and doing great healthy things. So I suggested it, and it was, there's a lot of scrutiny that it was money motivated. It was not. It was my suggestion that to benefit him and to benefit the royal family, that everyone look good and that they depict you as you are, right. So getting in shape and
Samantha,
doing healthy things.
Are you categorically saying that your father did not receive any money at all for taking part in those photographs?
I don't believe so, and that was not the motive. It was my suggestion.
I don't believe so. Are you categorically saying, not do you not believe, are you categorically saying he didn't? You've spoken to him, so I assume he must have told you either way.
I have no idea, but if he did, I'm going to assume it was a pittance. You know, I think on the flip side of that, it's quite atrocious that the media makes so much money off of preying on innocent people. And I felt that it was quite unjust and that somehow, you know, we could
But Samantha, forgive me, that's a little naive. Your father is 63 years old. He's worked in Hollywood all his life. His daughter was in Suits, you know, a big TV show. So she hasn't come to this as a complete unknown. It would be very naive to think that he was going to not get some sort of media attention, surely. Have you had any, or has he had any approach from the palace in the early days? What I find astonishing about this is that the palace would know this would happen. Has he not been given any support right from the beginning, saying this is going to happen and this is how we suggest you deal with it? Has he had any advice at all?
Well, let me clarify. He's 73, which, you know, makes him a bit more fragile. He's a very quiet man. And I feel that the media have unfairly preyed on him. So, you know, he's really, I think, been admirable about laying low and not speaking out, with all due respect. And, you know, I merely wanted him to be seen in a respectable light. I didn't feel that was being done. So I suggested that, you know, the photographers show him as he is, doing positive things, and that was never addressed.
Samantha,
so,
will you...
You know, I only hope, yeah.
Samantha, has Meghan offered any support for the wider family?
No, and I know that she's been overwhelmed. So, you know, we don't really understand, and I guess because we don't understand, it shouldn't be held against her. But, you know, I think clearly there's a lot of room for open communication.
And can I just ask one
only
last
hope
thing,
that.
Samantha? Will you be watching the wedding from somewhere on Saturday?
Of course.